So let's talk about getting a new bike and what are our choices. First, I would say that I think COVID has been pretty traumatic for much of the planet. So there's not really a lot of bright sides associated with it. But one good thing about having the world shut down for the better part of 2 years is that I've saved even more money than I would normally save. The things that I used to spend my money on, vacations, trips to see friends and family, going to restaurants with friends, going to concerts, seeing movies, I haven't been able to do that. So I have a few dollars more in my motorcycle fund than I would normally have. Second, let's all agree, I don't need a new motorcycle. But motorcycles make me happy, so I'm gonna get another one. I have the F3, I have the F4, and I have the Triumph. It's just that I realize I don't ride the Triumph that much, so I'd rather sell it and get another motorcycle. Let me tell you a little story. I once dated a woman who had 300 pairs of shoes. She thinks. It was just an estimate at that point. When you walked into her bedroom, along one wall, floor to ceiling, shoeboxes. It looked like the back room of a shoe store, is what it looked like. And before I could even start the sentence of, why do you need so many shoes? She said to me, shoes make me happy. Why do you need more than one motorcycle? Oh, snap. No, she didn't. And from that moment on, I gotta admit, we got along pretty well. Third, can we all just admit that the world is a very complicated place? A complicated world where someone could want a sandwich and soup at the same time. They're both food, but that doesn't mean that they're equal. There is no right or wrong answer about what you choose. It's just kind of a matter of opinion. They both have pluses and minuses. With that in mind, I'm sure people will still lose their shit in the comments section over these bike choices. But let's get started. And I have to admit, the bike I really want to buy is not for sale yet. Ducati's new electric Moto e-bike looks epic. That bike is going to be a missile. You can tell already. The only problem is Ducati has said they're not going to bring out a street version of it until between 2025 and 2030. So that gives me 3 to 8 years to ride something else while I wait for that bike to come to market. And I know some people have suggested getting something like a Brutale or a Turismo. While my F4 has been incredibly reliable, my F3 has been anything but, and it's just kind of soured me on Indies. Dealing with MV Agusta when you have a problem is such a painful process. I'm just really hoping for a different ownership experience with my next bike. So I think I'm gonna have to take a break from them. So yeah, I'm gonna be getting a different brand of bike for my next bike. The first choice is a Zero SRF. I know, odd, but I rented it for 48 hours for my birthday, and I'm putting together a video on it with my full thoughts, but I gotta tell you, that bike is pretty awesome on many levels. The torque on that thing is bananas. It will rip your arms off, and the technology is super cool. You know, they can push updates over the air. It's just very cool. The bad things are, it's heavy. It's like 500 pounds, which is 20 pounds more than my F4, which is a heavy bike. And Zero's new company philosophy is kind of lame. They basically sell you the bike, and then they charge you more to unlock features that are already on the bike. Oh, you want longer battery range? Oh yeah, it's on the bike, but we're going to charge you more to access it. Oh, you want a reverse gear? Oh yeah, that's totally on the bike, but we're going to charge you more to access that. Oh, you want faster charging? Oh yeah, it's on the bike, but we're going to charge you more to access that. Oh, you want on-dash navigation? Oh yeah, it's on the bike, but you're going to have to pay us more for us to turn it on. It's just a lame company philosophy that I just do not want to support with my money. Second choice, the Honda CBR1000rr-r looks epic. I'm going to tell you, that bike looks good in pictures. It looks even better in person. And you get Honda reliability. which is something that I'm sort of hoping for on my next bike after dealing with my F3. The big problem with the Honda is I think it's overpriced. What they're charging you for what you get seems a little off, but you can't deny that bike looks pretty sweet. The third bike I talked about in my last video, Ducati V4. I don't really know what else you can say about that. The cutting edge of sport bike technology. Nothing is really touching the V4 on that front. Traction control, wheelie control, slide control, ABS, tunable engine braking. Just like every kind of tech you can put on a bike, they have thrown on that bike. I mean, it does individual engine mapping based on what gear you're in. No other bike out there does that. Ducatis have become way more reliable since VW bought them out in 2012. That's good. The problem with the Ducati is the heat. I've talked to a few people who own Panigales and they all say it's a hot bike. So I'm worried that I'm going to be in the same position I am with the F4, where it runs so hot that I don't want to ride it for half of the year because there are so many hot days in Southern California. The tourists are out in full force today. The fourth bike I was thinking about was the Energica Ego, which is a street version of the race bike they race in Moto E. Now, Energica are pretty much the leaders in electric bike technology on the cutting edge of electric bikes that are available to buy currently. So that'll be state of the art. So that's definitely a plus. Their customer service is also excellent from what I've heard. If you have any kind of problem, they will take care of you and quickly. I also like the fact that you can build your bike to order. Do you want the fancy lightweight wheels? Okay, we can add that. Oh, do you want Olean suspension? Oh yeah, we'll add that. Oh, do you want carbon fiber bodywork? Okay, we can add that. So you can customize your order and get exactly what you want. It's not one spec of bike for everyone. You can customize it, which is cool. The bad thing about the Ego, besides the fact that it looks a little weird, kind of like an angry owl, is again the weight. You know, electric bikes, you have to carry those heavy batteries around. I believe the lightest version is around 560, 570, which is not light. I don't know how else to put that. That is literally 130 pounds more than my F3 with a full tank. So yeah, that's a big boy. And the last bike I was thinking about is an S1000. What is there to say about an S1000? It's a Swiss Army knife of sport bikes. It's kind of like does everything really well. You can commute on it, canyons, track days. You could take it on a road trip because it has heated grips and cruise control and a fuel gauge. Everyone knows it's a great bike. The only knock on the BMW is that it seems a step behind technology-wise compared to the V4, and it also would give me another inline 4-cylinder bike. And yes, it does have 80 more horsepower than the F4, but it just might be cool to have a different engine experience. So those were my 5 choices, the bikes I've been kind of kicking around in my brain the last year. Luckily, you are not going to have to wait long to see what bike I picked. If you are dying of curiosity to see what I chose, don't worry, because I'm picking the bike up in a few days. Oh, and I have a special adventure plan for the bike too, so you may want to tune in for that. So if you want to hear more motorcycle adventures, subscribe, and hopefully I will catch all you curious people on the next one.